From KGW News, this is a special edition. The Good Stuff.
Any kind of savings for anybody, especially nonprofits, trying to do this work and serve houseless communities is a really good deal.
The sun shines on Oregon nonprofits, helping them survive during the pandemic. Hello and welcome to The Good Stuff. It is so good to have you here. I am Galen Etlin. Solar energy is keeping some organizations afloat, and our Keely Chalmers explains how you can help too.
In just a few weeks, this new building in Northeast Portland will become home to 28 previously houseless veterans.
Just having a space to call home and their own is a really big deal.
The nonprofit Do Good Multnomah funded the project. Not an easy task in the middle of a pandemic, but the group will be getting some help to cover operation costs from the sun.
They're amazing, they're beautiful.
And this array of rooftop solar panels,
which then will offset cost of electric bills and also be, those savings are going to be put back into the project, which is a really big deal.
The organization received a $92,000 grant for the project, which will end up cutting the building's utility bills in half. All the money saved allows the organization to provide more services for local veterans, something even more important in these uncertain times.
I mean, we cannot even predict what's going to happen tomorrow because everything's changing every day. Any kind of savings for anybody, especially nonprofits, trying to do this work and serve houseless communities is a really big deal.
And if you're wondering how the nonprofit was able to afford the installation, it had help, lots of help from the community.
These are Pacific Power customers who choose to pay a little more on their bill each month to support community renewable energy projects like the one we have here.
It's called the Blue Sky Program. Pacific Power customers can choose to pay anywhere from a couple bucks up to $10 extra a month on their utility bills to help fund projects like this. Since the program was developed 20 years ago, it has supported more than 100 renewable energy projects, enough to power about 1 million homes for a year. PGE has a similar program. In fact, Oregon Power customers are some of the most giving in the nation when it comes to helping organizations like Do Good Multnomah.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it so much.
Now, in just a few weeks, this new building at Northwest Portland, will become home to 28 previously houseless veterans. Oh, I apologize. I am looking at the wrong story here. I will move on to our next piece, which is this story in Aloha. Just check out the big boost for a local nonprofit struggling during this pandemic. Imagine Possibilities Center in Aloha received a $10,000 grant. The nonprofit provides art, yoga, and other programs to people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. It initially shut down, but the grant will keep it going. For now, the nonprofit is offering programs virtually. Well, cancer patients are getting much needed support during the pandemic, and our Brittany Falker shares the work of another local nonprofit, Connecting Friends.
So many people feel like they're going through that alone.
Becky Olson knows how isolating a cancer diagnosis can be, and that's even before you add a pandemic to the mix. She's battled breast cancer 4 times since 1996, and it's back again, spreading to her lungs, bones, and liver.
You know, I like to think I'm pretty strong, and I've probably experienced about everything you can experience with this disease, but just having that person there that's willing to pick up the phone and call me and just say, hey, thinking about you today, just wanted to check on you and see how you're doing. It means a lot.
And she's dedicated the past 20 years to making sure other women fighting the disease have that support too. In 2000, alongside her friend and fellow cancer survivor Sharon Heffernan, she started Breast Friends on a mission to ensure that no woman goes through a cancer diagnosis alone.
Part of our goal was twofold, really. One was to teach the friends and family how to be supportive, but then also to provide one-on-one support for the patients, because not all of them had friends and family to support them.
And during this pandemic, that care is even more important.
The risks are much higher than for your average person who, you know, may encounter COVID but be able to fight it off, you know, easily. For people like me, not so easy. And that really gives you an extra sense of being alone.
Becky and her team are doing everything they can to be there for their clients remotely. But with the economy turmoil of the pandemic, Breast Friends need support too.
We're a grassroots organization. We've always relied on donations from just people, small donations. We don't have the big, deep pockets that some do.
They've had to cancel fundraiser after fundraiser. And like many nonprofit groups right now, donations are running thin. So they're asking for your help with their 20 for 20 campaign, a $20 donation to celebrate their 20th anniversary in the year 2020.
If everyone did that, it's $20 out of your pocket, and Breast Friends would be so happy and it would really be helpful. That would probably help us accomplish what we need to do.
They're also adjusting their annual golf tournament, one of their biggest fundraisers, allowing participants to golf on their own time, raising money for the cause. Breast Friends has been there for women for 2 decades. Now they need the community to be there for them.
You know, cancer doesn't stop because of COVID, and we don't either. So we're going to keep going right on through it.
I think we all know someone who's been impacted at some point. Now, we do have a good update to share on this. The co-founder of the nonprofit says they have met their fundraising goal. They're always looking for donations, though. So if you'd like to help, you can go to breastfriends.org. Now, there's a lot more good ahead here. And a Minnesota man wraps up a 700-mile trek from California to Oregon's Hood River, traveling, as you can see, by unicycle.
If you're having a difficult time going through a breakup or a divorce, go do a solo adventure, and you have all that time to just think and figure yourself out.
And on a unicycle, you've got an extra challenge. He's going to share what that adventure was like coming up. But first, this week we asked you about all the things that you like to do to recharge. We've gotten so many Facebook responses. You can text a photo to 503-226-5088. And here's a few of your pictures as we head to break. We are back with some more good stuff, and here's a pretty unique accomplishment. A man traveled the entire Oregon Timber Trail from California to Hood River on his unicycle. Jamie Mossengren calls himself the Unicycling Unicorn. He started on June 21st, and it took him 31 days to finish the nearly 700-mile journey. As you can imagine, that trek was not easy.
That was the first day. I counted 159 trees down over the trail. So I had to either go over, under, around. I almost quit after the first day because I was like, oh, if it's going to be like this every day, this is not going to be fun.
I know I wouldn't have made it. He kept going, though, and he finished yesterday in Hood River. He celebrated with a couple of beers at Freem Brewery, and this is his third long unicycling trip. Jamie tells us he enjoys nature.
When I did the Colorado Trail 5 years ago, I was going through a divorce, and like it just totally helped me. Like it healed me, and I healed myself, and it was the best thing I've ever done was to do that ride.
He has been unicycling for 30 years, so obviously pretty skilled at it, and he turned his hobby into a career. He now performs for audiences, but he is out of work because of the pandemic, so he hopes to get back to performing soon. We wish him luck, and welcome to Oregon. Now we go from unicycles to bikes. Portland's Filmed by Bike Movie Festival kicks off virtually this weekend. The festival features bicycle-themed adventure films, and you can buy tickets online at filmedbybike.org. The Oregon Hospitality Foundation is hosting that event. The money raised will go to the Cycle Oregon Fund, which gives grants to rural communities around the state. And now to the NBA. It is a big day for Blazers fans. The team had their first scrimmage in Orlando against the Indiana Pacers. And today was also the first game for center Jusuf Nurkic, who, since he broke his leg last March. Zach Collins also returned. He has been out with a separated shoulder since October. The Pacers won the scrimmage 88-91. And Portland has 2 more scrimmage games before regular season games return. Now today marks 1 year until the Tokyo Olympic Games, and it was originally set to start this week, but got pushed back to 2021 because of the pandemic. The International Olympic Committee is optimistic, though, and so are some of the world's greatest athletes.
We don't know what's going to happen, so we train as if.
These Olympic Games, Tokyo 2020 in 21, can, should, and will be the light at the end of the tunnel.
Now you can celebrate the one-year countdown from home. Airbnb is teaming up with the IOC to launch a week-long festival hosted by athletes. We have all those details on our website, kgw.com. I spent a summer in Japan during high school. One of my favorite places. I'm putting it out to the universe that I'll go next year. We'll see. Now when we come back, a Washington nonprofit turns to animals to comfort isolated seniors.
The residents love it. They light up when you guys come to the window. They look forward to it.
Animals touch our spirits in a way that humans can't always do.
And first, before we get to that, more of this week's Facebook comments about what you do and where you go to re-energize. Well, move over, Kevin Bacon. This local father-daughter duo is bringing the heat with their dance moves. Schaefer Murray sent us this video. He made it with his daughter, featuring the theme song from Footloose. Schaefer is a fourth-grade teacher, and they were supposed to go to Disneyland, but had to cancel the trip because of the pandemic. So instead, the pair traveled all over the Northwest, documenting it with a music video. A big thank you to Schaefer for sharing this with us. It's adorable, and you got the moves, both of you. Thank you again. Now, it has been really nice to see family fun like that during the pandemic. But for some older relatives staying isolated to stay healthy, it's really challenging. So now a nonprofit in Bellingham has found a way to bring joy to seniors. Chris Cashman shows you how.
Oh, there's people here. Hi. This is Chester. Hi, sweetie. You're such a sweetheart. It makes me cry every time. But it makes me really appreciate, all that we have.
Animals is natural therapy, and we bring therapy horses and other small therapy animals to visit the seniors through the windows since we can't be inside right now.
Yeah, the horse is really pretty. The residents love it. They light up when you guys come to the window. They look forward to it. As you can see, this one comes up and she's leaning in the window. If they could come out, they would come out.
It was 15 years ago that we started taking animals to nursing homes.
Do you ever get used to these looks of amazement and happy tears you see on the other side of the glass?
No, because I've got them too. They've done studies now, scientifically, they've drawn their blood, and when our oxytocin and serotonin, our happy chemicals, go up in humans, it does that in the horse beside us. So these horses today are actually getting happy chemicals, happy hormones because of this.
Oh, he was handsome, Mona.
Oh, tell me about it. So what you guys are doing is bringing pleasure and joy to a bad situation right now.
Oh my gosh, yeah. He hasn't done this since February.
Animals touch our spirits in a way that humans can't always do.
Oh, he's waving.
These connections, these heart connections that the animals make with the humans is great for everyone.
I got kisses!
Those are some beautiful animals too, aren't they? That nonprofit also offers animal visits to kids and veterans. You can learn more online at animalsasnaturaltherapy.org. Now you might also recognize him from America's Got Talent. Ryan Niemiller brings his comedy to Portland, and our Cassidy Quinn caught up with him. But first, let's head to Longview for a moment of zen.
It's growing, but people definitely want that small town feel and want to keep it small town. Everybody knows everybody.
This is Lake Sacagawea. It's roughly 3.5 miles all the way around. Tons of wildlife.
Ducks. We saw baby geese the other day. That was really fun.
It's probably the highlight of the community.
Trying to find all the good things in being quarantined. So getting to enjoy walking together. We got naps scheduled for these ones because that's every day, hasn't changed in quarantine.
Then it's probably home for the rest of the day. Maybe some reading, tea time, and Play-Doh. That's about as exciting as our day gets.
Good to have you back. Shows are back on at the Helium Comedy Club in Southeast Portland, and a comedian from America's Got Talent will take the stage. Our Cassidy Quinn chats with Ryan Niemiller.
People ask me dumb questions all the time. I'll get this one a lot. They'll be like, "Hey, Ryan, is that genetic?" Yes, because you see, my mom was Irish, and my dad was a lobster.
I am the triple threat of comedy. So the name originally came about because, like, I always sort of knew I wanted to be in entertainment, but 100%, you know, half hand to God, the truth of what I wanted to do was I wanted to be a pro wrestler. Like, that's where my entertainment, that's where it started. I've been a huge wrestling fan since as long as I can remember, and the triple threat I felt was just a perfect name for that. Wrestling training didn't work out the way I wanted to. It's very hard, but I liked the name so much that I was like, I don't want to give this away. So I kind of kept it into comedy, and here we are.
How would you describe your comedy for people that haven't seen you before?
You know, obviously having this disability, it's something that I can't ignore. It's pretty obvious. You know, it's people are going to see it. So people were like, "Oh, you make fun of yourself," and I'm like, "No, I usually make fun of other people who don't know how to handle someone that looks like me." I'm very pro talking about myself and like pro kind of lemons to lemonade. I try to joke a lot about stuff that can sometimes be dark. It's sometimes not pleasant. It's things that in the moment were not fun experiences, but then kind of turning them on their head a little bit and showing like, hey, even some of the worst stuff you can find that silver lining to and kind of make work and have some levity and some grace. So that's kind of what I try to do.
You know, there is a lot going on in Portland right now. Do you think about that and like incorporate that into your jokes, or how does that work?
Maybe a little bit. Like it's one of those situations that I found, especially with what I do and what people expect of me. Like, for instance, I can't completely ignore coronavirus because it's such a, you know, it's so deep in everyone's life right now. But most people are coming to see my shows so that they can forget about a lot of that stuff for an hour. You know, it all affects me as well. So I'd rather go just have a fun, good time, let everyone at least temporarily forget. Like, the problems don't go away. They'll be there as soon as the show ends too. So let's just try to have some fun in the meantime.
It's a good attitude to have. Now, over the next few days, Ryan is doing 5 shows at Helium this weekend, but the first one is at 8 o'clock tonight. Fans must wear face coverings and social distance. We want to thank you so much for joining us here. We're going to be back on Monday, so remember to keep sharing the good stuff with us. You can email thegoodstuff@kgw.com or text the number on your screen, 503-226-5088. We're going to end the show now with more of your Facebook responses about how you recharge. Have a great night.